Hello and welcome to this demo of XiOS 4.0 Management Improvements. In our fourth software upgrade version 4.0, we've made a lot of changes when it comes to the management of the XtremIO arrays. Here is a summary of some of the changes that we've done in version 4. So it was really about scalability and the ability to allow you, the end user, to manage more arrays with less infrastructure. So we start with the ability to manage multiple XtremIO clusters from within a single XMS. Another very highlighted request feature was the ability to save a lot of data and performance information on the array itself. So now we are supporting up to 2 years of history inside the XMS itself. We also give you the ability to do tagging, so you will be able to query a lot of information using the tagging feature. And a small request, but still important, is the ability to connect to an XMS through a macOS support. So that is also now included. So let's jump to the GUI and see how it looks in real time. So this is the GUI of version 4.0. This is a technical preview, so it's not feature complete, but you can take a quick glance of how it's actually going to look like. So here I've got two XBricks, XBrick 26 and XBrick 359. Let's focus on 26 for a second. So we see all the obvious things that we saw in version 3.0, like performance history and volume capacity and even fictive alerts that we put here, so you'll be able to see how it looks. And we also have a new screen called the inventory screen. So for example, if we jump to the SSD fictive errors, you can now see what potential errors that you have with your SSD drives. The inventory look is also helpful because it allows you to visualize other objects within every single XBrick that is running in the lab. And if I go to the inventory tab, again, I can see that I have here two XBricks. One of them is as if it's a faulty one, so you can see the yellow lights indicating that the SSDs are faulty. And because I only have a single XBrick in this cluster, I only see one in the rack. Obviously, it will be populated with more and more if your XtremIO cluster will get bigger. And I can do the same for the other XBricks here. I can still do the usual stuff like show the back of it if I want to, show the cable connectivity that I was able to do before, very useful information that I can show directly from the GUI itself. But a new thing that I can now do with the same XMS is the ability to manage multiple XBricks at the same time. So you can view it from the inventory view, but you can also view it from the dashboard. So for example, if I go to all clusters and I do IOPS and I filter it out by clusters, I can now see the total IO aggregation of the two XtremIO XBricks that are not running in the same cluster. So obviously, if you have more XBricks in the cluster or in the clusters, you will be able to see the total IOPS aggregation, the total latency aggregation, and the total bandwidth aggregation, again, directly from the main GUI. So again, very useful, especially if you have a large quantity of XBricks that are running in different clusters. The other part is the left part here that we see the storage efficiency. So I can see the total efficiency of all of my clusters, which is here. Remember, again, I have two single XBricks running in two separate clusters. Or I can see the usual information here per XBrick. So XBrick 26 will show me different information than 359. And I can also filter it by physical capacity. So we will have more physical capacity will show up first. Same goes for physical use capacity and state if I have issues with the array itself. Right now the view is set to data reduction ratio, which is this one. However, I can change it to more specific information like the use capacity. So if I click this button, I can now see again the total physical capacity that is used here and split it by the different XBricks here. Right? And I can also view the inventory directly from here, which is what we showed before. So again, if you have a large number of XBricks, you can see directly from the GUI itself. So very useful. A single XMS can now manage multiple clusters at the same time. Another useful information is now you have the ability to create reports that are very granular and can span to up to 2 years. So how do you do it? You go to the reports tab and you can now create a new report. Another useful information here is that you can have your reports being published as a public report, so all the users that are logged into the XMS will be able to see it. Or you can make the report private, so only with your username you will be able to see the reports that you created. So you can also select the time. Up until now it was only real-time monitoring report, and now you can have it based on different times. Again, it can save history for a long time. So for example, a report that I created, which will be useful here, is that the capacity over time utilization of the last year. Obviously the XBricks haven't been utilized for such a long time, but you can now see your data growth, and you can plan for future growth if that's what you wish to do. And again, I can filter it out by more than just a single XBrick. So in order to do it, I just edit this specific report, press the next button and select the other XBricks that I want to use. I can even change the matrix if I want to other useful information. Press the next button, finish. And there you go. I can now see the used capacity in the SSDs spanning over the two single XBricks in the separate clusters. The other request that we think that you are going to like and leverage quite heavily is the ability to use tagging. Tagging is a very powerful concept if you use it wisely. So for example, you can tag a multiple of volumes from multiple XBricks that, for example, will represent a specific business unit in your organization. And that is then important because you can then do very clever things around it. For example, mapping to a specific tagging group, taking a snapshot of a tagged group, create reporting based on tagging. So as you can see here, I've got some tagging that were already created, like volume 01 and volume 0 and volume 2 that belong to the finance tagging team. And if I now scroll back to the tag itself, I will be automatically see just the volumes that have been tagged with the word finance. Again, very granular and very useful for reporting purposes. And if I go back to the reporting, as you can see now, I can create reports based on the volume tag itself. Another feature that we've had is the ability to control the XtremIO XMS GUI through a macOS. So here you can see me logging into my XMS, and it will open in a second. And what you can see here is pretty much everything that you saw before running on a Windows GUI, but now just running from a macOS. So the same information that we've shown before can now be visible in macOS. Small change, but was rather useful because many customers have been asking for it. Thank you.